What's up, champ? I'm Monte of GeneExpressionTraining.com. In this video, we are going to start a brand new series called The Truth About. And we are going to explore some of the, what may be called some of the more controversial exercises. In today's video, we are going to look at the truth about leg extensions. We are going to uncover a lot of myths. We're going to look at, is it good? Is it bad? Is it better? Is it worse? What are the pros? What are the cons? When should you do it? When should you not do it? How do we do it? And we're going to find out, is this an exercise we want to keep in your program? All right, this video is going to be very eye-opening, very different than anything you've heard before, so let's get into it. So before we dive into the leg extension, we need to understand the three different types of force that we can create within our joints. This can all be found in any biomechanics textbook if you'd like to learn more. Don't ask me, is there a study to support this? This is all basic biomechanics, guys. So the first of three are what's called compression, the second is called distraction, and the third is called shear. All right, so when we're training in the gym, compression is when we add a barbell to our back and all the joints underneath that load are being compressed. So when you're doing a back squat, all your spinal muscles are being compressed. That's compression. All right, when we're doing a pull-up, that's called distraction. That's when your joints are getting pulled apart. The only thing keeping you together are your ligaments and your muscles contracting to keep your body together. The third type of force is called shear. All right, shear is when we have two joints move around each other. Now, shear is a term that people hear and they get freaked out about. Shear is natural. It happens in every single shoulder joint, every single joint in your body, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your ankles. All right, it's a natural thing. All right, so when you hear people talk about, oh, don't do the leg extension, it creates shear in your knees. Every single shoulder exercise creates more shear in your shoulders than the leg extension creates shear in your knees. So if you're afraid of shear from leg extension, that even goes for leg curls too, then stop doing all shoulder exercises today, because there's far more risk with those ones than with the stuff down here. All right, so that's the first thing that we want to learn about the leg extension. There's nothing wrong with the leg extension because it's a natural joint motion. All right, so that's take home number one. So now that you know that shear is not unique to any single joint in the body, it's a natural joint motion. It's the natural rubbing against joints when two joints are moving in opposite directions. We don't have to be afraid of sitting on a leg extension. Now let's look at this exercise in context to goals. All right, let's talk about building muscle. All right, we're gonna compare two exercises, leg extension and squats. You saw this coming, right? So barbell squats, we've got load on our back, but when we're standing there with the load on our back, is it hard? Is there any challenge to the stuff at the front of our legs, the quads? You got load on your back. Is this hard? No, you could probably stand here for quite a while, all right? When does it become hard? It becomes hard when we start creating what's called torque. We start moving our hips backwards. We start flexing our knees. All right, the more your hips go back, the more your knees start to fold up. That's when the weight becomes heavy, all right? So when's a squat hard? It's hard a little bit in the middle. So a lot of you guys could, do 3-4 plates, and if I told you to go down a quarter, you could probably hang out there because there's not maximum torque. Now when we go down to halfway, and I say create an isometric contraction here, you're like, oh, this is a little harder. When does it become maximally hard? In the bottom position. All right, now if the weight's the heaviest in the bottom position and that's when your muscles are the weakest, are you gonna get a strong contraction from your quads? Probably not. All right, it's called the principle of inappropriately increasing resistance. So as your muscles are getting shorter, they're getting weaker, but the load's getting heavier. So how can you create a forceful contraction in your quads when your muscles are weakest and the weight's the heaviest? So you're in the bottom position, the load's the heaviest. Are you hanging out down here? No, you're getting out of that position as fast as possible. So if our goal is to build muscle tissue, the squat, while it has benefits, it's not the best quad builder. Try it. Now let's look at the leg extension. I'm gonna sit right over here. So what's cool about the leg extension machine? We can create what's called stability, all right? We can now focus on what we want to challenge. So if we want to build bigger legs, we want to eliminate ways to make it easier. With a leg extension, one of the cool things we can do is we can create an isometric contraction at every point of the range of motion. I can create a lot of tension on my quads just with this partial range of movement. A lot more tension than I could create with a partial range of movement on a barbell squat. If I'm coming up to halfway and I just ask you to hold this and contract, this is very, very hard. Your muscles are going to be working because you can't borrow any help from any other joint systems or any other muscles. So what's going to produce more muscle? Something that's easier or something that's harder? If your goal is to build muscle, we need to make it hard. If we take this up to 90 degrees and I say hold this for 10 seconds, is this hard? This is very hard. You can even see in a demo here, I'm starting to kind of shake a little bit. My muscles are working. So one of the big benefits of a leg extension is that we can isolate this muscle and we can create massive amount of fatigue without borrowing other muscles. Is that a smart way to build a muscle? Absolutely. So stop saying barbell squats are better than leg extensions. While barbell squats are certainly a very valuable exercise, they will not create as much fatigue in your quads as a leg extension will. And you can feel it for yourself. When was the last time your legs quivered at the end of a heavy squat workout versus a really heavy leg extension workout? It's not the same, right? You'll be tired, but your quads will never be the limiting link on a squat workout. And if you're trying to take your quads to exhaustion to build them, that's what you have to do. So people that tell you all you need to do is compound exercises to build a body part, they got it all wrong. I'm not saying there's not value, but if it's context to building muscle tissue, there's a lot of problems as we've just looked at. Now, I do want to talk about one problem with the leg extension, and it's how you get to the end range, all right? Nobody talks about this. If two cars were driving on the road and they bumped into each other like this at maybe 5 miles per hour, we gonna have much damage? Probably not. But if we have two cars flying 100 miles per hour and they crash into each other, what happens? People get hurt. So the only issue I have with leg extension is how you get into the end range, all right? So this is the problem. Lack of control in the end ranges when we're not considering all the inertial components, all right? So the problem with leg extension is when people use terminal velocity into the end ranges. If you're moving into the end ranges with control, there's no problem at all. So it goes back to our really simple message of go slower, control the weight. See how this stuff isn't complicated, guys? People just want to make it complicated because they're running out of content to talk about on their channel. We're just trying to keep this simple, guys. This is the no-nonsense channel. Last thing, there are a few other considerations with the leg extension. It's never the exercise itself. This is a hinge joint. This is a natural movement for your knee. The problem is when we don't set up the exercise properly. So I'll show you the big mistake. The big mistake is when we don't keep these joints in alignment. The humerus and the upper leg and the lower leg. Let's just use simple terms. Upper leg, lower leg. So how do we know if these are lined up properly? It's very simple. Our knees are facing the ceiling. All right, so look down at your kneecaps. If your kneecaps are facing the ceiling, that means you've got neutral alignment of your hips and you're gonna have maximal contraction on your quads. Once your knees turn out like this, that's when we start getting issues in the knee joint. Again, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. That's why you got to avoid people on the internet who use these like absolute terms like the worst exercise ever, the best exercise, because this is just clickbait, just trying to get your attention. All right, we know that there's nothing wrong with this. This is a natural joint motion. Look, this is not natural when we've got external rotation at the hips and now we've got external rotation at the knees. Now we have unnatural joint forces going through the knee. You see that? But when this is all lined up, that's all quads. You grab the handles, you pull your ass into the seat, and you go to town. Don't crash into the end points. Don't waste the ends. We talked about this in other videos. And squeeze the muscle like it owes you money. If your muscles are moving the joints, you're fine, guys. The problem is when you start losing control. Simple concept, eh? So start teaching your friend there's nothing wrong with the leg extension. Tell them to watch this video. Tell them to line it up properly. Tell them to initiate the movement with the working muscle. Tell them to own the movement. Tell them to drop the weight. Tell them to control the ends. If your goal is muscle tissue, leg extension is a fantastic exercise. You will never get hurt doing a leg extension if you do it with control. The only challenges occur when you start losing control, joint systems are crashing into each other. It's a very simple message, guys. Are we getting through yet? Last thing, I want to say something I'm very aware of, but we don't have time. This will require another video, but there's a lot of different kind of leg extension machines. They don't all have the same resistance profile, all right, because of the way the cam is set up, all right? So that's another topic for another day. Let's just leave it at that. Make sure you are aware that not all leg extension machines are created the same. I'm fully aware of that. Again, we don't have time to dive into that today. If you'd like me to do that in an upcoming video, let me know. And also let me know what other exercises do you want to look at the pros and cons of. Is it a friend? Is it a foe? As you're probably going to find, the answer always comes down to it depends on how we do it. All right? So we're going to look at the leg press. We can look at chest flies. We can look at upright rows. There are certain exercises that have more issues than others, but let's look at it together. I'll be honest, I don't have time to watch everyone's YouTube videos. All right, I seriously don't, okay? I got 2 kids, a business, I got a family. I like having a life. I don't have time to watch all the information out there. So if you can do me a favor and say, Vince, there's a guy on the internet who says this about this exercise, what do you think of that? And let's have a conversation in a positive manner like that. This channel's here to help everybody. I'm not here to put anyone down. I'm learning myself. Let's learn together. Let's do this in a mature way. Wouldn't you agree? All right, thanks for watching, guys. Last thing here, if you need a resource for learning how to do all your movements properly, massmechanics.com. If you haven't invested into it, do it now. It'll teach you how to execute all your movements properly with proper cues to build muscle tissue. Massmechanics.com, link somewhere up here or in the description box below. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for liking this video. I appreciate when you hit that like button. It tells me that we're getting something out of this together. Take care.